And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kids Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Rialto, right off the 210 freeway at Ayala Drive. Eat more chicken. Welcome everyone to the Inland Sports Show. Before we start the show, make sure you like this video and you've subscribed to the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel. And if you're a local business or organization and you'd like to promote yourself on this show, just send us an email, inlandsportsshow@gmail.com. The show starts right now. Garcia's left-footed. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to a very special at-home edition of the Inland Sports Show. My name is Pep Fernandez. Before we get to some great sports talk, make sure you subscribe to the Inland Sports YouTube channel. We are quickly approaching 4,000 subscribers, well over 1 million views. We appreciate your guys' support, and it's a great time of the year. Some might say it's the most wonderful time of the year. Listen, it's a great time because we still have a couple high school football teams in the hunt for CIF state titles. This is the final week of the high school football season. We're hoping Ramona and Jurupa Hills can end the season on a win and be crowned CIF state champions in their respective divisions. Let's take a look at the matchups here. Jurupa Hills in Division 4 AA. They will take on Soquel from Northern California. That's this Friday, 8 o'clock. At Pasadena City College at a neutral site. And Ramona also playing a neutral site game as they will take on Pleasant Valley. That is Friday, 8 o'clock at El Camino College in the Los Angeles area in Division 5 AA, as I mentioned. So the Rams, the Spartans individually going for CIF state titles this Friday night, the very final week of high school football. And we still got a couple local teams playing. I mean, it's almost Christmas. So it's a great thing to have two teams going this deep into the playoffs. We saw San Jacinto make that deep run last year. This year we got two teams. And for the Ramona Rams, it's our Kids Sporting Goods must-see game as they will take on the Pleasant Valley Vikings from Chico up in Northern California, the northern section. In fact, Pleasant Valley is a team that I used to cover. When I covered the Pleasant Valley Vikings a long time ago for the NBC affiliate in Chico and then the ABC affiliate in Redding, Aaron Rodgers, the former Green Bay Packers quarterback and New York Jets QB, was the quarterback for Pleasant Valley. So I remember covering the Vikings, I think, for 3 seasons, and Aaron Rodgers was there for some of that time. So that's where they got their claim to fame, was Aaron Rodgers as a Pleasant Valley Viking. And then the Ramona Rams, they got great alum too. How about the big cheesy Jeff Gorham, my buddy, my BFF. He's a Ramona guy. Congratulations to Jeff. He is going into the Ramona High School Athletics Hall of Fame, if you haven't heard yet. So congratulations to Jeff. So Pleasant Valley making that long trip from Chico. I mean, in a bus, that's probably a 10-hour drive to get down to Southern California. This game being played at El Camino, which is probably a little bit closer than coming out to Riverside out here in the IE, but nonetheless a neutral site game. And we'll see if Ramona can make it all the way to the state championship, win the state championship. They're already in the finals. Can they win the state championship in the last game of the year? That's 5AA. The Kids Sporting Goods must-see game. Now, like Ramona, Jurupa Hills is another great story because the Spartans, like the Rams, had to go into the playoffs, the Southern Section playoffs, as an at-large team. They didn't even get an automatic spot into the postseason, so they've had to fight their way through the entire playoffs. They won a Southern Section championship in Division 8, and now they are in Division 4 AA, and one win away from being crowned a state champion. Jurupa Hills taking care of business against Matilda Torres from Madera in the CIF Southern California Regional Championship game. 41-14 was the final in that one. So Jurupa Hills with a dominant win in the Soquel Regional. Now they'll take on Soquel for that state championship game. And again, that one's going to be at Pasadena City. And what a great run by Jurupa Hills just to get to this point. Like Ramona, had to sneak into the Southern Section playoffs, and here we are. Inland Sports. And that leads us to this. It's the big boost play of the week. We're going back to Jurupa Hills. It was some trickery. The old double reverse. Caleb Ruiz goes deep downfield, completes the pass. So a little bit of trickery by Jurupa Hills, and it pays off. Big completion, and then the touchdown for Jurupa Hills. Again, 41-14 against the Toros from Torres in the SoCal Championship game. That is our big boost play of the week, brought to you by Jurupa Hills in the SoCal Regional Championship. Now, that's high school football, and best of luck to Jurupa Hills and Ramona. I hope they both get wins and both get state titles. That would be amazing for the Inland Empire. But we still have another local football team in the hunt for a state championship, and that would be Riverside City College, RCC, going up against the College of San Mateo for the state title, and this game will be in Riverside at Wheelock Stadium. We at Riverside TV, we tried to get the game. We wanted to broadcast it, but the rights were not available. So if you're wondering why we don't have it, we wanted it. We tried to get it, but the broadcasting rights were not available for this game. So we unfortunately will not have it. But the game is in Riverside at Wheelock Stadium. So if you get a chance, go check out the Tigers as they try to beat the College of San Mateo and win the state championship. If the name San Mateo rings a bell, it's because it's a rematch of last year's game, and it did not go well for the Tigers, to say the very least. The Bulldogs from San Mateo won that game 55-0 in the state finals. Nothing went wrong for RCC, so a chance at redemption for RCC, and to do it in Riverside in their home stadium at RCC at Wheelock, that would be amazing. So that's going to be this Saturday, 1 p.m. at Wheelock. But real quick, let's take a look at how the Tigers got there. They had to go first on the road to Mount Sac and beat Mount Sac in a wild game that came down to the finish. 51-48 was the final on that one. And then as the number 4 seed in Southern California, they had to go on the road again up to Ventura College to beat the Pirates to reach the state finals. And we got some highlights. We're going on the road with RCC. Highlights from this one. Ventura on offense. Hey, but Chris Irvin, the quarterback, gets picked off by Kayvon Baptiste out of JW North, the pride of 3rd and Chicago. 15 yards on the return. The Tigers strike first. Allende Bancoli runs it in from 6 yards out. Gives RCC the 7-zip lead. Now, fast forward to the third quarter. Jordan Barton connects with Norian Espadron, and he takes it 41 yards to the house. Riverside increases its lead to 31-13. Espadron on the TD. And then the Tigers' offense just kept going here. Jordan Barton finds Jacquez Modica for the score. That makes it 38-20 in the fourth quarter. This thing is just about a done deal, but here it is. Pirates looking for a late score. Irvin fires in the back of the end zone for the Pirates. Not today. Intercepted by Raymond Valencia with 8 seconds to go in the game. You know what that means. It is time to jump in. Victory formation. RCC wins 45-26, the final. So RCC beating Ventura in the Southern California Championship game at Ventura College to punch their ticket to the state finals to take on the College of San Mateo, the reigning state champions. And again, they beat RCC in the state finals last year 55-0. So RCC, I feel like the Tigers got something to prove. They got a chip on their shoulder, and we'll find out this Saturday, 1 o'clock from Wheelock. And more college football news, and this is great news. It's big news for our guy, Jaden Daniels, the pride of Cajon High School. Maybe this will be the last time we saw him in an LSU uniform. He beat Texas A&M the last time out in Death Valley, but Jaden Daniels, one of 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy, along with Bo Nix, the quarterback for the Oregon Ducks, Michael Penix Jr., the Washington Huskies, of course, and Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State. Those are the 4 finalists. Jaden, one of those. They'll go to New York City this Saturday for the Heisman Trophy presentation. Jaden put up incredible stats this year. Also, you know, when people said, I've never seen a quarterback put up stats like this, I'm like, I have. His name was Jaden Daniels at Cajon High School, specifically his junior season when he passed for over 5,000 yards and he also rushed for more than 1,200 yards. That was a fantastic junior year at Cajon, which he led them to a CIF Southern Section title, and obviously that is translated well at the college level for Jaden. That kid, Jaden Daniels, just being one of 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy is such a huge deal, and we really hope, obviously, he wins that on Saturday night in New York City. He is deserving. His numbers were incredible, and LSU had a great season, ranked inside the top 15 for most of the year. So we'll find out this Saturday. Best of luck to Jaden Daniels, and man, really hope things turn out well for him. And I don't know if he said definitively, by the time we do this show, I don't know if he has said if he's going to play in the bowl game for LSU. A lot of these top-ranked players, they forego the bowl game so they can concentrate on the NFL draft. So we'll keep tabs on that as well. But best of luck to our guy, Jaden Daniels, out of Cajon High School, who basically owns every single passing record in the CIF Southern Section. Passing yards, touchdowns, I think completions. So you look in the record book, it's just going to say Jaden Daniels all the way through for the CIF Southern Section. All right, when we come back here on an at-home edition of the Inland Sports Show, we're going to go one-on-one and an exclusive interview with the Rancho Verde boys basketball coach Johnny Dukes. The Mustangs are off to a 7-0 start. They already have a tournament title under their belt this year. They've got some big tournaments coming up. The Tarkanian Classic in Las Vegas, and of course the Damien, which is one of the biggest tournaments in the IE in Southern California. That's coming up around Christmas. So some big tournaments coming up for the Mustangs. So we'll talk with head coach Johnny Dukes when we come back here on an at-home edition of the Inland Sports Show. We'll be right back. And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Rialto, right off the 210 freeway at Ayala Drive. Eat more chicken.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
Here are 5 lies society tells you about strength training. Number 1, you're going to get buff. That's lies. It's genetically impossible. Number 2, muscles are masculine. Wrong. Muscles are empowering. Number 3, you're going to gain weight. That's false. Lean muscle burns body fat. Number 4, muscles make you bulky. Not at all. For girls, you can expect more muscle tone and definition. Number 5, you don't need to strength train. The biggest lie of all. Strength training helps you build confidence, makes you more healthy, and improves your athletic performance. If you want to know more about the benefits of strength training for girls, check out this month's blog at www.boosttrainingsystems.com. Boost Man.
The Inland Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun. And welcome back, everybody, to the Inland Sports Show at Home edition. It was a crazy week for me and also for our director, Johnny Nunez, and we could not get in the studio this week, but I'm optimistic we'll be back in the studio next week. All right now we're going to talk some high school basketball. We have spent a lot of time on football, and for good reason. We got some great football teams here in the IE. But right now, we're trying to transition into the winter sports as well. And one of the top basketball teams in the area, again, is the Rancho Verde, and Johnny Duke's doing a great job with the Mustangs. In fact, they're undefeated to start the season 7-0. They won the Beaumont Tournament Championship this past weekend. They got some big non-league games coming up. Murrieta Mesa's on the schedule. Orange Vista's on the schedule. They're going to go out to the Tarkanian Classic in Las Vegas, and of course the Damien Classic here in Southern California right after Christmas. So there's some big tournaments coming up. The Mustangs will be tested, but they got some dudes. As Coach Dukes says, he's got some dogs, and these guys are going to work hard on the defensive end, and they might even score a little bit more this year. Here's Johnny Dukes, the head boys basketball coach at the Rancho Verde, here on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports. And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, the one and only Johnny Dukes, the head basketball coach at the Rancho Verde High School. The Mustangs off to an undefeated start. Great role for the Mustangs to open up the 2023-2024 season. And Coach Dukes, 7-0, a tournament title. What has impressed you the most about your Mustangs so far early on in this young season?
Early on, I think for us is how much these guys have gelled in kind of a short period of time. They are really like playing for each other. This team doesn't have any egos. They just, we ride the hot hand, and whoever has it, everybody else supports it. And we try to keep it going until we figure out who else has the hot hand.
You guys have a tournament title at Beaumont. There's some good teams there. You beat Vista Murrieta in that championship game. And, Coach, I think you posted on social media that was your first tournament title as a head coach. All the success you've had so far at Rancho Verde, but you had not won a tournament yet. Is that correct?
I hadn't won a tournament outside of Section 7, which is the summer, so that doesn't really count.
Uh-huh.
Those wins or losses don't actually go on my resume. But obviously, the big tournament, which is getting to the CIF championship, we were right there a few years ago. But in-season, regular season tournament, we hadn't won one since I've been here, and we actually hadn't won one as a school since I think the 15-16 school year. So it's been a few years.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I see, in fact, I'm going to take a different shot so people can see it at home as well, but I see the runner-up plaque behind you for the 2022 season. What did you learn about that experience being a head coach during that playoff run? What did you learn about yourself at being a coach that you feel like is valuable to make yourself a better coach and help your team maybe make a deeper run this postseason?
I learned a lot that year. First and foremost, I learned that I belong, in the ranks with some of the good coaches here in Southern California. After working for Jerry for a number of years, we were able to find some success winning 2 championships, but you never really know if you could do it on your own until you get on your own. So being a head coach, I learned that, I can still get teams to play hard. And, I was a huge part of what Jerry had going on at Colony. So I was able to bring some of that mojo over here. And, like I said, we made a run. I think I learned more last year, though, with the ups and downs than I did in the year that we actually got to the championship.
Well, Coach, obviously you've got another great squad, but you were kind of telling me tongue-in-cheek off the air that, maybe you guys were flying under the radar a little bit to start the season, but you're 7-0, you have a tournament title. I don't know how long you can fly under the radar and be this good, but you feel like this team, this year's version, maybe something to prove, like a lot of guys stepping in maybe to starting roles or getting more significant minutes. Do you feel like this team has, maybe something to prove for the rest of the world out there?
Yeah, I think last year, we had, because we made the CIF run the previous year, we returned a lot of guys. We had a little bit of expectations. It always helps when you got a 7-footer on your roster. So losing him and then losing our leading scorer, Anthony Smith, I think people didn't think that this train would keep rolling. And we had a pretty good summer, and we've had a pretty good fall. And I do think we've flown under the radar a little bit, but as long as we stay undefeated, I don't know how much longer we're going to be under that radar. And this show definitely isn't going to help. So.
Well, Coach, we talked about, the 7-0 start and what you've liked about your team through the first 7 games. What are some areas that you feel like, man, we're just scratching the surface? We can still get a lot better in these areas.
Offensively, so anybody who knows me knows I'm a defensive guy. And, that's kind of where we hang our hats. But after we lost last year on the road, I think we held the team to I can't remember what that final score was, but it was 30. We held the team to 37 points in their gym or something like that. And we didn't win because we didn't score enough. We had 35 or whatever it was. So it was a super low scoring game. So all summer, I just thought about, okay, I know I'm pretty good defensively. I know we're going to be able to get stops. I want to become a better offensive coach. I want to become better execution-wise. So as much as I hate to do it and I hang my hat defensively, we've been working on a lot more offense this year. And it's been working out great for us. I think we're executing at a high level right now. We're setting good screens and finding the open guy and making the right reads. So I think our defense will always keep us in a game until our offense shows up. But when we have our offense and our defense clicking, we are pretty tough to beat. We played Colony in the semifinals the other night, and we were hitting on all cylinders. So we were not only knocking down shots, we were getting stops, and it's just the way we play and the pace that we play at. We're going to get up in you and make things difficult, and then if we can make the right reads offensively, I would almost put us up against anyone.
Yeah, that game was 81-36. That was the Beaumont tournament semifinals, Coach. So you would say that was probably the most complete game for the Mustangs this year on the offensive and defensive ends?
By far, yeah. We were obviously my players got up for me because they knew, that's where I had come from, and I told my players because I hang out with the Colony guys still all the time, so I told them that I don't want to be at the barbecue with them talking about how much they upset us by last year. So, my players, they were focused. They not took it personal because there wasn't any animosity towards each other, but they knew we had to get this one for Coach.
Well, Coach, through the first 7 games, let's do some name dropping. Who have been the guys so far?
Obviously, Jermaine Washington Jr. He's been my point guard for 3 years now.
Was he the tournament MVP at Beaumont?
Yeah, he actually wasn't, so I'm going to get to that. So I lead with him because he's my captain. He's had the keys, to the car for 3 years as far as, leading us, being a point guard, being an extension of the coach. So, and he had a good tournament. He was a all tournament selection, but he kind of rolled his ankle. And, he had 2 nights where he was just, he was pretty good, but not the Jermaine we're used to seeing. And I had another guard who has, completely stepped up into his bigger role, and he is playing phenomenal. We call him T. His name is Tristan. He's only a junior. I think he's averaging over 20 points a game right now in the 7 games that we played. But he won the tournament MVP. He has been phenomenal this season.
Coach, let me go back to Jermaine just for a second, because having a point guard in the program for multiple years, what does that mean to the success of a basketball team? Because like you said, he's an extension of you out there on the floor, and to have him in your system for several years in a row now, I'm sure you have the utmost confidence out on in Jermaine to be out there on the floor, doing the offense, leading the offense obviously as point guard, but maybe even setting the tone on the defensive end as well.
I mean, so here's the thing. I believe you can win a championship without a big. You cannot win a championship without good guards. You can find a way without, don't get me wrong. To have one is great, but, the way that the game is played, you can't win without good guards. And I would say Jermaine is one of, if not the best point guard in the state. And obviously I'm a little biased, but I've had this kid for 3 years. He's grown, tremendously over the 3 years that I've had him. He was very quiet. He came in his sophomore year. He was kind of, just getting used to being in that, big role as the leader of a team. But he kind of took a backseat to Kimani Davis that year and kind of let him do his thing. Junior year, he kind of stepped more into a leadership role. He became a captain. And then this year, obviously, he's the guy. So, whenever we need a bucket, whenever we need a stop, whenever, things get tight or get close, I talk to him. What do you see? What do you want to run? We've built that relationship and that trust. So I have full and total trust in Jermaine Washington Jr.
So it sounds like between Jermaine and Tristan, you'd put your backcourt up against anybody out there.
Yeah, but we got another secret. I got another kid that's I think I just found out today he's going to end up being a 30-day sit-out, but he is another one. His name is Jackson Hampton. He's another dynamic guard, athletic, can kind of like he played a lot in the fall, and he also was with us in the summer. He goes on 10, 12-0 runs by himself. So when he gets back, I think guard play-wise, we are about as good as it gets. Outside of, the Corona Centennials and the Roosevelts, those powerhouses. But when you take a regular public high school, I don't know if there's better guards out there.
So, Coach, it sounds like the defense will still be there.
Absolutely.
But there's going to be a lot more buckets this year for Rancho Verde. That's what I'm hearing right now.
I think this is the best guard play I've had. When you throw in those 3 guards I just spoke about, and then you got Mozzie, a.k.a. his real name is Leon. We call him Mozzie, but Mozzie Man, he is one of those tough guards. He will go and guard the 4 or the 5 man. When you come down the court, he's going to just not let you have free will. He might put one in your chest to slow you down. So he's physical, he's tough. He's a really good passer. He has a high IQ. So, and then I have a younger guard, also big guard as well, Caleb Render. So I got 4 or 5 guards in a rotation that are pretty good on any given night. I think we've had 3 guys already score 20, and that's not what I have in Jackson in the rotation yet. So it might get scary.
Are we talking about a 5-guard lineup on the floor maybe at one time?
We absolutely can do that because Mozzie can guard just about anybody. So we can put it. We throw him actually at the 4 and 5 sometimes. Obviously, we don't post him that much at that position, but we can run the offense through him, and he's a good passer, so it actually becomes a benefit to us. So yeah, you will see 5 guards on the floor at any one time with Mozzie and the other 4 guards.
Coach, do you look for players who, I've heard this term before, positionless basketball. You just want basketball players, guys who can, feel comfortable handling the basketball, guys who can shoot, guys who get it, they know how to rebound and box out. They get that part. They can play defense. Are you just looking for basketball players? You don't care if they're 6'4" and you list them as a forward, or you just want guys that are going to go out there and compete?
I want dogs. That's what I'm looking for. Like I want guys that are going to get after it on a night in, night out basis. And I think I have that. This team is so tough. Like when you watch us and you see us defend, it is really tough to deal with. In fact, I had a ref tell me the other night that he's been around this sport for a very long time, and he has never seen a team play as hard and with as much energy as he's seen tonight. Like, so we really get after it. And we talk about dog mentality and, being tough and not letting people go where they want. We talk on defense, we scramble. So we try to put it all together on the defensive end, on top of, again, like I said, being a better coach offensively and, bringing Brandon Baker back. He's kind of been helping out with the offense. So, I still got Coach said. So we got a good thing going, and we're going to see how long we can ride this wave.
Load management is a term we hear in the NBA where guys take nights off. But in terms of your guys, because they go so hard out there when they're on the floor, especially on the defensive end, like you said, do you have to be conscious about, maybe how many minutes they get or how deep your bench can go so these guys can get quick breathers? And, so when they're on the floor, they're going 100 miles per hour and they're going nonstop.
Because we are able to go into our bench, like we have a pretty solid bench. You play hard for 4, 5, 6 minutes at a time, and then you get pulled out for a breather, and then we don't have much of a drop off. So I've been able to go into the bench a little bit this year, and it's kind of been helping us not have to play guys such heavy minutes. But I know if it comes down to it and we're in a super tight contest, and I want those older veteran guys out there, they're able to play, 28, 29 minutes if need be. But of course, I would like to not have to do that. And, I always talk about, you'll hear me yell at my coaches, I got to find Tremaine some rest. I got to find Mozzie a minute or two to rest. So we do a pretty good job with our substitution and our rotation to get guys in, get guys breathers. But if we need to, we are in condition enough, thanks to Coach said, as far as our weight training and track work and bleachers. So they're in shape to do it if we need to, but we'd rather not have to if we don't.
Well, Coach, listen, I always appreciate the conversation, man. Love talking hoops with you. You guys are off to a great start. I got a feeling we're probably going to talk again very, very soon because you guys have a great team and some big tournaments, I think, coming up for you guys as well. And then league play, of course, when we get into the new year. That is Johnny Dukes from the Rancho Verde High School. Coach Dukes, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Pat, man. It's always a pleasure.
Inland Sports. Always love chopping it up and breaking it down with Johnny Dukes, the boys basketball coach at the Rancho Verde. Another great start for the Mustangs. And as you heard, trying to fly maybe a little bit under the radar last year, not up to par with what the Mustangs were expected, trying to have a bounce back year this year. And I don't think they're going to fly under the radar too much longer with this great team. A lot of talent, and Dukes is a great coach. Brandon Baker back in the mix as well. So, man, really excited to see what Rancho Verde is going to do this season. All right, when we come back here on this at-home edition of the Inland Sports Show, we will be back at Teen Vision TV 16 next week, but the schedule is just too busy. It's hard around this time of the year to make sure Johnny's schedule, Johnny Nunez, I should say, his schedule and my schedule line up, but we'll be back in the studio next week. But on this at-home edition, we're going to hear from Jim Radigan. He is the SBVC cross-country coach, the Wolverines boys team, top 5 in the state. We're going to hear a little bit from him. And also, I'm glad you guys stuck around because if you guys missed it, Alexander Madison unveiled his I Am Gifted Athletes of the Year. And I say the year, I mean for the fall season, for the fall sports. So a football player, and a volleyball player being named the I Am Gifted overall winners for the city of San Bernardino. So that's next here on the Inland Sports Show at Home Edition. We'll be right back. We're back. We're back here at the Boost Performance Center with the one and only Coach Ray Bass with another gridiron question. And Coach, we've been doing this series on parents, not on purpose, but maybe stunting or preventing the athletic growth of their son or daughter. There's a whole list, but here's another one. So what's next on the list?
So it's definitely too much expectation for other people to help their kids. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good coaches out there that can assist in your child's athletic development. But the reality is that they're the ones that have to go to class every day. They have to put in the work at practice. They have to excel on the field. So it kills me when I see parents who don't empower their kids with the tenacity to do more. Not to say that there's not good coaches that are out there that can assist, but the reality is as parents, we need to provide our student athletes with the tools they need to be successful, like being accountable, self-discipline, and applying consistent and correct effort. That way they can forge their own path to success.
Yeah, sometimes you got to put it on them, right? Let them have some ownership over their success. Okay, so again, we'll be back with another gridiron question on this theme. As parents, what are we doing to maybe prevent that growth? We want them to grow and achieve and get better. So we're going to give you the best tips from this guy right here, the one and only Coach Ray Bass, right here at the Boost Performance Center. And this segment of the Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Boost Performance Training in Corona. Athletes of all levels and all sports train at Boost. And also ask about the Bass Private School. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist you can trust. Chick-fil-A in Rialto, right off the 210 freeway at Ayala Drive. Eat more chicken. Inland Sports. Like we said, Georgia was the #1 team for basically the entire season, and then they lose by 3 to Alabama at the last game of the year.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man.
All right, so we got Michigan, Alabama in the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl coming up, and then Washington versus Texas, which is going to be a great game as well. That'll be the Sugar Bowl, and now Steve Sarkisian going up against his former team.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun, right? Oh, and UCLA. UCLA got into a bowl game. They're going to make the long trip to the LA Bowl. UCLA in the LA Bowl at SoFi taking on Boise State, your Mountain West Conference champion. That game is on December 16th if you're taking notes at home. And 49ers against the Eagles, a rematch of the NFC Championship game from a year ago, which obviously Philadelphia won and advanced to the Super Bowl. 49ers left no doubt. They're a little Jekyll and Hyde for me because they had that bad stretch of 3 weeks, but when they play like this against the Eagles, they might be the best team in the NFL. They beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia 42-19. Patrick, that is a beatdown, my friend.
I think it is rather clear that they're the best team in the NFL because it is going into the most hostile of environments, and to go in there and to just punk them and take their lunch money like that, I think it's pretty clear, man, because I think we all thought that this was going to be a much more competitive game, but it was pretty clear the 49ers are better.
Inland Sports. All right, check it out every Monday and Thursday morning on KCAL 96.7 FM, hanging out with my boy, Patrick, in the morning, man. Love talking sports. He is a big sports fan, originally from Seattle, so he loves the Seahawks, the Mariners, etc. So I love talking football with him. All right now on the show, we want to preview an interview that we did for Sports Weekly on IEMG. San Bernardino Valley College cross country, routinely one of the top teams in the entire state of California. And the men's team, not only did they win the conference championship, but they finished 5th in the state. So Jim Radigan, the head coach, in 10 seasons as the head coach of the Wolverines, he's won 9 conference titles, and routinely, like I said, the men's side, one of the top teams in the entire state. He did it again. We're talking GOAT status at this point. So here's Coach Radigan. Just a small clip of our actual entire interview that you can find on Sports Weekly IEMG that airs in the city of San Bernardino, but you can also find the interviews and the segments on their YouTube channel, which is IE Media Group. So here's a little bit of our interview with Jim Radigan to kind of preview the full interview that you can find on IEMG.
Yeah, it's been a struggle though. Last year was probably our worst year since I've been there. We finished 19th at state, just had a tough time. Post-COVID has been very difficult for a lot of programs. So we were 19th, and I went out and got some really good kids and brought them in. And probably the biggest thing is I retired from my school teaching job. So now I am a retired school teacher, but I spend all my time at Valley in the morning, and it's been great. That's probably been the big key factor this year.
Yeah, just having that extra time, right, that you can put into the program. And you talk about recruiting. I mean, you could coach your tail off, but you still need some great runners out there as well. And I would assume you probably don't have to go too far from SBVC to find great runners, in San Bernardino County, maybe into Riverside County as well.
Yeah, definitely. Our top runner this year, Vinny Quiros from Cajon. Our number 2 runner at the state meet, Elijah McBroom from Arrowhead Christian. Our number 3 runner was Jacob Mendiola, also from Cajon. Our 4th runner was Chris Valderrama from Bloomington. We had actually 3 Bloomington runners on the team, and the other one, Pharisees Torres from Grand Terrace. So we try to keep local. I like to keep getting the local kids. That's the key thing.
Yeah, and there's certainly enough talent, and you guys, proved it again this year. On the boys' side, Coach, getting 5th at state, was that the expectation? Did you feel like you guys were going to end up in the top 10? Did it surprise you? Like what did you think of that 5th place finish?
So going into the season, I told our guys, I really feel we have the capability of being a top 5 team at state. And because I was am retired, we took a trip to Fresno for our first meet, and I was never able to do that prior. So we went up and ran the state meet course. We took 2nd, beat all the NorCal teams, and I'm like, hey guys, we're going to be back up here in about less than 2 months. Let's try to go for top 5, because I knew there were some good teams. Mount Sac, San Diego Mesa, RCC is always tough, Orange Coast, Glendale. But I said, hey, we work hard, we could be top 5, and we were 5th at Soquel and came back up and got 5th at the state meet. So kind of fulfilled my promise to the kids that I think we could be a top 5 team.
All right, you can look for the full interview with Coach Radigan right now on IEMG TV and the IE Media Group YouTube channel. And finally here on the Inland Sports Show, if you've been watching us all fall season long, I should say, Alexander Madison, the pride of Cardinal City, San Bernardino High School, and starting running back for the Minnesota Vikings, he's been doing his I Am Gifted Athlete of the Week. He did it for 10 weeks in a row, and at the end of 10 weeks, he picked an overall winner for the boys and the girls. And the winner will get a trip to Las Vegas to see the Vikings play the Raiders this Sunday. So what a cool trip. And Alex will get a chance to meet the winners and present them with the I Am Gifted Athletes of the Year award. So without further ado, if you haven't heard already, for the girls, it's Giselle Castellanos, the volleyball star for Indian Springs High School. She was the first all-CIF selection in volleyball for Indian Springs, and also was all Mountain Valley League. Helped Indian Springs get to the playoffs for the first time and also win their first playoff match in program history. So congratulations to Giselle Castellanos. She'll be going to the Raiders versus Vikings game this weekend. And on the boys' side, it's him. He is him, Ronald Weathers, one of the top running backs in the CIF Southern section for Arroyo Valley, well over 2,000 yards on the year. ranked as one of the top 2 or 3 in terms of yards in the southern section. Some other guys had more games on the year, but Ronald was always up there near the top and helped Arroyo Valley get back to the playoffs, and he did everything. He had almost 30 touchdowns, over 2,000 yards on the ground, and he is the overall boys winner. So congratulations to Ronald and Giselle, the I Am Gifted Athletes of the Year. When I say year, I mean for the fall season. And again, they will be going to Las Vegas to see the Vikings at the Raiders, where Alex will get a chance to meet them and present them with their awards. And I'll be there too. I'm making the trip to Las Vegas to see Alex as well and kind of document the journey for Giselle and Ronald out there. So we'll have more on the I Am Gifted Athletes of the Year next week on Inland Sports. All right, that's going to do it for this edition. We appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the Inland Sports YouTube channel. We'd appreciate it. We're on all the social media platforms as well, although we go real hard on Instagram and Twitter, so make sure you find us there. We'd appreciate it. As we wrap up football this week, good luck to Ramona and Jurupa Hills and RCC. It's been a long football season. One more to go for our local teams. We're hoping we bring back 3 state championships. My name's Pep Fernandez. God bless you guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show.